Hi everybody, this is second part of chapter 10, Advertising and Persuasion. So let's compare public relations with persuasion. Public relations is earned media. Advertising is paid media. What it means is public relations is creating media. It triggers media coverage. It sends information to media companies, to newspapers. Whereas advertising does the opposite. It buys media time, it buys television, radio airtime, and buys space on newspaper pages to place their ads. Advertising is a very old form of human communication. It comes from Greece, Rome, Egypt, Iraq even, designed to inform or persuade the public about a product or service. It's often seen as a way to tell people about material goods, but also candidates, ideas, behaviors, and principles. So a lot of ads look shocking or inviting. The traditional location of ads is newspapers, magazines, but there are new media locations as in emails, banners, etc. So advertising charges for their spaces, whereas media planners do research to find their best advertising spaces that will be seen by their desired target audience. So advertising has its own limits. It influences and persuades audiences, but it doesn't really change too much of what we already know or what we believe in. Whereas branding is another form of advertising. It is the scope of advertising, which usually aims to stay in our minds for a longer time. So it includes logos, packaging, store brand, store design, price points, advertising strategies, and so on and so forth. So we know a lot of brands. We know car makes, we know fashion brands, we know food brands, food companies, fast food companies, we know sports companies, sports shoes, for example. We know how our Apple iPhone is different from a Samsung or Galaxy. We know Pop-Tarts and other toaster pastries are different from one another. So as we know from our previous conversation, in 1841, Volney Palmer created the first U.S. advertising agency, which bought and resold ad spaces in papers, designed ads, collected circulated data for clients, charged a service fee for doing that. So this advertising model still lives today. There are several kinds of jobs in advertising agencies. You can be an account manager, strategist, and creative, as we talked before. Back in the day, companies made single ads for everyone to see. People trusted the ad if they trusted the brand, and by extension, if they trusted the carrier of the ad. Today, ads are made for narrow or niche audiences that are tightly defined or targeted. So it's called narrowcasting because the advertising companies study audience segments. They study the times of day when each audience tunes in, and everything is targeting a specific audience according to their demographic. Everything you do related to shopping, purchasing is recorded and is tracked. So those things are called cookies. Internet online advertising is the fastest growing form of advertising. So there are regulations for advertising. The Fairness Doctrine was adopted in 1949 by the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC. It requires broadcasters to seek and present all sides of an issue in equal time. In 1967, the U.S. Supreme Court applied this to cigarette advertising, and in 1987 the FCC dropped the regulation, the Fairness Doctrine. So we entered the era of what we call deregulation. the Reagan era. The FCC has other initiatives in place today, and you can study the FCC's webpage to learn about what they do and how. So ad strategies lead to two considerations. Advertising careers involve intense marketing research, niche ad creation and placement, and tracking results. So you need to be able to work with data. Advertising practices are more intrusive and invasive. They do, as customers, as viewers, we get invaded more and more than any other time in history, and so we need to remember those truths and those trends, and understand which side of the equation we want to be on.